life hates me.
Also pressing button. I don't hate you.
Thank you. We're back. Episode 38. We are bordering the next season, which is fucking insane to think about, that we'll be 40 episodes deep and like almost halfway to 100. But you got me and you have Squishy. And then finally, you know how you guys don't understand how long it took to drag him into this. We have Silver.
Hi guys. How's it going?
Silver has been a friend of ours for a while. And
He's been too busy for us.
Him. He has.
What,
he doesn't love us anymore. He doesn't love us anymore.
He has a big boy job now, and now he goes to the gym, and now he makes healthy life decisions and doesn't have time for VR activities.
And he talks to girls.
Wait, that last part. Hold on now.
That last part's a lie.
Yeah, I was about to say, what are you talking about that last part? It's bold of you to assume. But yes, hi guys. It's been a while since I've been on any sort of stream whatsoever, actually.
That is fair.
I think about it.
But
the last stream I think you were on was what, Ashes? Like a while ago, the one that got an edit made of?
I think. I can't really remember.
Because you haven't been on mine other than chat.
Yeah, I feel it. I've probably been to that one at the latest, I think, and that was probably almost a year ago now that I think about it. It was summer of last year.
Yeah.
That's crazy work.
Yeah. And don't get me started on how long it's been since I've made TikTok, so.
Yeah, Silver, when are you getting back into content creation?
Yeah, so when are you gonna make TikToks again?
Soon, okay.
You've been saying that for almost 2 years.
I will link his
this
TikTok so you guys can all go to his comment section and ask when he's going to post again.
Please
do it on the latest video that I upload, which is
no, do it on every video.
Spam it.
My latest video was actually about me going on random hiatuses.
Bruh. I'll say, I think the only other videos you've been in is when me and Squishy are like, hey, we need a body, please get online.
Yeah.
The last video me and you did together, I threw you.
I've been on one of Ash's recent TikToks, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I saw that one.
So, I guess consider it my dipping my toe back into the whole content creation thing.
Yeah, when are you gonna help me with lore again?
I don't know. You tell me.
That's fair. I haven't posted lore in a minute.
Yeah.
But
I haven't heard anything for a while.
Chaos is in my chat, and he said Poland has fallen to the Knight of Squish army.
I'm glad we've made it this far in Poland. Hi, Poland.
What kind of fucking beef do you have with Poland?
Ask Chaos.
Have beef with Poland. Someone here gave the order to conquer Poland.
I said execute Order 66. They can take that with what they will.
I was gonna make a joke, but I don't know if it's within rules with TikTok and Twitch, but
I think we're both just doing it on Twitch, so I don't
do it on TikTok. TikTok will take it down. TikTok don't like this podcast, and they have good reason to not.
Fair enough.
Chaos said Germany and Poland have fallen.
Beautiful.
And Germany? Jesus.
And Germany.
But listen,
you don't
Silver.
question the army of Squish, alright?
We don't.
You don't question my little ones.
Hi, J-Buns. Go take a shower. You stink. But Squishy told me before I got on that you wanted heinous shit for stories.
Oh yeah, give me the worst stuff.
All right.
I've heard a lot of bad things, but I want something that'll make my jaw drop.
I will say the J-Buns, no! J-Buns, no! We're not. I can't say that. I had two stories picked, but that is for you guys will see it later. That's for a different episode. That's for next week. I'm saving it for those guests because it'll make sense and you'll understand when we get there. So I found new ones.
Oh.
And the first one, we will start a dip into heinous shit. But I also, hello. This entire month I've been doing charity streams for lupus. So I went and scoured and found a lupus-related Reddit post, I can't say it disappointed me. It definitely screamed Reddit. So...
Yeah, I believe it, yeah.
Let me pull it up here. Alright, so it comes from Am I the Asshole? This was a year ago, and the person who posted this has since deleted their account. Which is awesome.
Interesting. Okay.
And it's, am I the asshole for telling my ex-boyfriend's brother that my ex and his mom hate his girlfriend because she has lupus? My ex-boyfriend Brent and I have been broken up for about 4 months. We dated for about 6 years until he turned into a judgmental asshole who degraded women for things like their weight or the amount of money they make. Brent's mom has had very similar opinions about people in general. She judged me for not making 6 figures yet and judged my parents for not owning a house or having any real estate to pass down to me, and would also comment on women when they passed us, like if they looked slightly overweight. So all in all, my ex and his mom most likely will judge you if you pass them on the street. He broke up with me, to which I easily left and never looked back. He is blocked on everything. I got a text from his brother's girlfriend recently asking if she could talk to me, and I said of course. I just asked her to kindly not mention my ex or anything he's been doing since I'm still trying to move on and I don't need any information on what he's been doing. She agreed and I gave her a call. Note, I have always loved his brother, Zach. We get along great. He started dating his girlfriend. Her and I weren't really friends, but we got along just fine when we did hang out. I didn't know her that well, as Brent and I had broke up about 3 months into her and Zach dating. Zach treats her very well from what I can tell, and they seem very happy still. On the phone call, she was very kind and asked how I was doing, and I asked the same. She seemed to be doing well. There was only one issue occurring lately. She said that Brent has never been kind to her. She's always tried to make an effort to be nice to him, but he always gives her the cold shoulder. Same thing with the mom. I sighed and told her I'm very sorry that was happening. She then asked if Brent has ever mentioned anything to me about why he disliked her so much or if she had done something to make him mad. I know exactly why he doesn't like her. And he would tell me all the time that my brother shouldn't have to, I fucking tabbed out, my brother shouldn't have to, Jesus Christ, have to deal with or be burdened by someone who is sick. Their mom would also tell me the same things, and she stated to me that she's just gonna be lazy and use her illness as an excuse to make my son take care of her. I couldn't bring myself to tell her, firstly because I didn't want to hurt her or Zach's feelings, but also because I didn't want to be involved in any sort of drama that may come from this information. I felt bad for her at this point because things Brent said are awful, and I really hate him for that. Of becoming that person that he did and treating her that way. So I told her the truth. I told her exactly what was said in those quotes from above, both Brent and their mom. She thanked me for telling her, and I pleaded with her to keep it out, to keep my name out of this, and that she didn't hear it from me. She promised that she would, and I trust her, I guess. But now I feel bad knowing that she knows the reason why Brent hates her. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. So am I the asshole for telling the girlfriend that Brent hates her simply because she suffers from lupus?
Huh. I mean, honestly, I don't think she's the asshole for doing that, honestly. Because, like, they're not together anymore. I guess she doesn't really care about, what they're doing anymore. So it's like, hey, here's this information. Don't tell him I said it, but here's this information, just so you know.
I mean, she did ask, to be fair. And
yeah.
Hi, hello, this is why we're doing the charity streams. I have lupus. So, this shit pisses me off to the nines. For the simple fact that this girl's just living her life. Her and Zach are happy from what OP is posting, that there's nothing wrong with the relationship, no cheating, no fighting, no big issues. She just has a diagnosis that she does not control, and sometimes it sucks, and sometimes it makes days hard. And for those two to be such shitty people that it's like, oh, you're just doing this so you can be lazy, and so my son can take care of you. Are you loaded? Do you have like a copious amount of money? Is she gold digging? I don't think so. They apparently have a very nice relationship, and she's tried to reach out to them. And this may be shitty to say. I hope they break up, because even if her and Zach are good, I don't know the relationship outside of this because it's not delved into. But if Zach doesn't catch wind of this and tell them to fuck off and instead stays quiet, this will crumble their relationship. Because you can't let your family disrespect your partner like that, especially over things they can't control.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Squishy.
My thing is also like, even if like they're like her and Zach are fine and stuff, he could just be like, fuck you, mom and brother, and just go no contact. Like if he wants to stay with her and doesn't care, and he's just like, I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna help you and all that kind of stuff, then he also has the option to go no contact.
I hope he does. Fuck those parents. Oh, and the brother. Fuck both of them. Where's the dad?
Where's dad?
This is fatherless behavior.
I was about to say, honestly, I think the dad has just gone like a lot of the other scenarios that have been in this podcast because they just don't want to be around it.
So, like, here's the thing, right? We did have a story, I think 2 weeks ago when Ash and Fav were here.
Yeah.
That we didn't know where dad was. And, like, I think it was before I read the second part or the third part. We were just like, where the fuck's dad? Where's dad in all this? Boom, third part, he was there.
The dad existed. We had to just say it 3 times.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that episode.
J-Bun says the dad don't care, but like, because it really does waver on how I hope the girlfriend goes to Zach and like says all of this shit and was like, hey, your family's a piece of shit. And I hope that resolves well enough that he's like, I love you, so like let's not interact with them. Because I'm sorry, also to be so shitty to not only like partners that come into your kid's life, but just like random people on the street. I understand judging people. I think we all do that. I'm not trying to say like we're holier than thou when we don't judge people. No, if you're doing some weird shit out in public, I'm definitely looking at you like a freak.
Yeah.
But I think to sit there and be like, oh, you're overweight, you have no ambitions because you don't make 6 figures and your parents don't own a house. Okay, then you do it for me. Buy me the house. The fuck?
Yeah.
And that typically comes from like a severe place of insecurity. How big do you think the mom is to be making comments on people's bodies like that?
I didn't think about that.
She probably built like the logo for Michelin tires. You cannot make
also
that comes from insecurity. If you're out here saying you're a fat bitch, what's your weight?
Generic, middle-aged 40s mom bod.
I'm gonna see you in the street and call Ghostbusters.
I would also just like to point out, I did flip my camera to Silver in the middle of that story because he just had his jaw dropped and he was just fucking just staring so intensely with his jaw.
J-Bun said 3 hundo. I'll say like you.
I wasn't expecting that. It seems very ignorant to like judge people off of their like disabilities or their whatever they're going through, diseases, other things like that. I mean, there are scenarios where people will make it pretty much an excuse and try to live a lazy lifestyle and stuff.
VR chat.
But, it all really depends. It is fair, but it all depends on the person, really. And I feel like that's one of those scenarios where that's not happening.
Well, and it's
Let's bring up Ash's favorite topic, EID within VR chat.
No, for real.
Oh,
I'm sorry. That's such an issue. But like, so part of why I wanted to talk about this post as well is this shit has happened to me in different circumstances where I was. So like, obviously, for those who don't know, hi, here's a little like TED Talk of education of some of the things that this does. It's invisible 90% of the time. You don't see what's happening to my body. I feel what's happening. You don't see it. And it, aside from like the feigning spells and the severe fatigue, like I can go from having energy out the ass, like I just drank a monster, right? And then it's like, boom, I need to go to bed now. Like everything hurts. Muscles don't want to operate. It hurts to walk. It hurts to move my arms. I lose muscle function. There's been nights where my fiance has had to help me undress because I can't. Like, I can't lift a shirt up. It's too heavy suddenly. And, like, you don't see any of that physically. And so, like, it fucking blows. And so when you exhibit those behaviors externally and, like, make it known of, like, hey, I'm really hurting or I feel really tired. I've been marked as lazy. I've been marked as a buzzkill. I have been marked as too needy. And the biggest instances being typically around like food gatherings, family gatherings. Not with my family. Different family. And I had to stop somewhere. If it was like, hey, we're going to their house and it's like a big family dinner, I had to eat before going. Because like with lupus, my diet is restrictive. I don't want to say extremely because I'm used to it now. In the beginning, I would say it was extreme because I didn't know how to handle it. But like no gluten, I have to watch sodium intake. I have to watch red meat. I have to watch garlic for some reason. Sometimes potatoes. Like if I showed you the list of foods you have to either not touch or watch very closely, because like red meat, I am at a 50 times greater risk of heart attack.
Jeez.
So, like, one steak could be fucking the death of me, but steak's really good, and I don't eat it all that often. So,
and I love steak.
But I would have to not bring my own food. I would go and eat, and then go to this function to, like, pick out, like, a salad they made that even still couldn't eat because, hi, if you guys don't know, aside from croutons, a lot of ranch mixes have gluten in them as a preservative. So I literally needed to just chew on lettuce or a carrot like a fucking rabbit at these dinners. And it was really hard because not only did they know that I wasn't able to to eat the things that they were making, they would then be upset that I wasn't eating. And then it was like a weird circle. It was, why won't you eat? Oh, because you can't eat it. So you just hate our cooking. Oh, you're a picky eater. And then this is why you're really small. This is why, like, it was like a full circle of events that would range from you're being lazy or being picky to maybe you're just anorexic because you don't fucking eat. And it's like, you guys know that I can't do this or else it makes me sick. And so it's like I could even bring my own stuff and they would still throw a fit. There was no winning.
It's hurtful.
That's why
Jesus.
I'm grateful now that I have the fiance that I have, because nobody is taking care of me in that manner of like, oh, you're not feeling good? Let's go lay down. Oh, your body hurts? Don't worry, I got it. Like, it's never been an issue. I've even had with like past jobs, I was marked as lazy. They watched me faint. They watched me go doink, doink, lights out. And when I came to and needed water, they went, you're lazy, get back to work or you're fired. I really wish I could make that shit up.
Like, no calling the ambulance or anything like that either? Like,
I got drug tested.
what is that gonna do?
Make sure I'm not on drugs. They had a doctor's note stating she has lupus. She needs more water. Don't put her out in direct sunlight all day. And they'd go, that's not real. Go to the sunlight. And then I'd faint and they go, she's on drugs. Make her pee in a cup. And I'm like, I just needed water. Like, genuinely water and shade and I'm fine. Lupus is like being a vampire with extra steps and I don't even glow. That's not fair.
Wait, where does glowing come into it when you're a vampire?
Twilight.
Edward.
I got two completely different answers.
That is the
Same
same answer.
It's the same thing. I don't watch that, so I have no idea.
That's
In
the vampire's
Twilight,
name.
You have Edward Cullen.
And he goes out into the
Twinkle,
sunlight
sparkly
and he
boy.
takes his shirt off and he's like, "This is the skin of a killer, Bella." And he's all kinds of sparkly like diamonds.
Now I am very much staying away from that movie.
It is as an adult, I will say it's the funniest shit to watch because you will make fun of the
seen
acting
TikToks.
and everything.
I've seen TikToks of people putting Snapchat filters over it, and it's fucking hilarious.
I have videos. I've done that. They are in my Snapchat memories. It was
You
awesome.
need to send them to me. It's fucking hilarious.
I will find it because it was the entire scene where he's like running through the trees and he's like, "Do you think you can keep up with me? Do you think da-da-da-da-da? This is the skin of a killer, Bella?" And it's like the wide face.
Oh no.
Fucking. I was wheezing the entire time.
Jesus.
Oh my god. But with my little rampage of don't fucking disrespect people with illnesses that you can't see, just because you can't see them doesn't mean they're not real. This brings us to Squishy's second story. Now we can dip into more heinous shit
First
because I know
story.
she found first story.
Yippee.
I know she found heinous shit. Mine's tame compared to what she found.
Like, did you actually read it?
No, I
Or
read
do
the
you just,
titles.
know the title. Oh, jeez. Okay.
Alright, so.
You get two. You get what are two? What are two?
Those.
Dos. Your gloves
Yes.
are off, by the way. Do you have them?
Oh yeah.
Claw hands.
Claw hands. All right.
Yeah.
So, this story, the title is literally, "My sister was abusive, so I turned her into a walking piss-stained wasp trap."
How do they correlate? How what? What? How do those correlate?
You'll find out.
Okay. Okay. Let me hear it.
So, this was made a week ago. This is on r/revenge stories.
Why do you find all the fresh ones?
Because I'm good at licking.
They just put a band-aid on that
Probably
bitch and you're
just
like, rip
puts
it
a
off.
Filter on it.
Rip it off right now. Okay. So I grew up with a sister that was 3 years older than me and horribly abusive. She tried to take my life on numerous occasions and took out all of the rage and hate she had towards my absent father and put it on me. There was physical, emotional, and verbal abuse. She even injured the family dog by ripping him away from me just because she hated seeing the slightest semblance of happiness on my face at home. After a while, I learned how to return the hate verbally, but since she would scream bloody murder if I tried to physically bully her, I thought of something better. My sister was, and still is, an emotionally volatile person, and I knew I could use this to my advantage. When I was 12 years old, there was 1 week where she was practically nasty, particularly
There you go.
nasty towards me, and I knew that she had a country concert she was going to with her friends that weekend. Every time I found myself at the receiving end of one of her outbursts
Not
of
the
rage, I
country
would play
concert.
along and I would play along and pretend to cry and storm off into my room. Given she felt accomplished once I started crying, she would always head downstairs to watch TV, and little did she know of the sinister grin that appeared on my face each time she did. Starting on Monday of that week, I stashed a wasp trap in my room. We shared a Jack and Jill bathroom, so when I would retreat to my room, I took just under a tablespoon of the wasp trap solution and spilt it between her shampoo and conditioner. That Friday, she tried to kick me down the stairwell and threatened to stab me. At this point, I not only added the wasp solution, but, brace yourself, urine, that I'd keep in a small plastic bottle. I was initially going to use the urine to start off the week, but I had decided against it as I thought it was too far. So I stuck with the wasp trap solution. That's a tongue twister. When she tried to kill me, nothing was off the table. To make things even worse, I would leave the bottle in the sun during the day to make it as nasty as possible. As luck would have it, she was late in getting ready for her concert, so she rushed to the shower prior to leaving, providing her with very little time to suspect something was off. Her cheap perfume was added as a bonus as to mask any smell until it wore off at the venue. After she left, I poured out some of the tainted product in the used bottles of shampoo and replaced it with diluted floury soap and water to cover up my tracks. Toiletries were never something we squabbled over, but I was determined to leave as little evidence as possible just in case she suspected some kind of tampering. She returned home with several wasp stings, complaining about how she couldn't enjoy herself because there were tons of wasps at the concert. She ended up crying in her room later that night after confiding in my mother that the girls in her friend group kept mentioning that something smelled bad, but they couldn't tell what it was, and she was afraid that they all thought it was her. I cannot truly describe the amount of... That's a big fucking word.
Man, who had the dyslexic one make a podcast?
Shut up!
I'm kidding.
I'm gonna guess it's another word for happiness or joy, because that is not a word that I've ever...
How do you spell it?
SCHADNFREUDE.
I was never good at spelling bees. I need to see it in front of me.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna continue. So the amount of joy I felt realizing that my plan played out perfectly. She was so distraught about the whole ordeal that she didn't even have the energy to lash out at me for the next 2 weeks. This is the one and only time I've acted on a revenge fantasy. This isn't the idea of... There isn't an idea or... What the fuck? Can this person spell?
I feel like their vocabulary is just bigger than what we're used to.
I'm gonna say there isn't an ounce, because that might be another word for ounce. I don't know. There isn't an ounce of regret within me, and I would gleefully do it again without hesitation if I had to go back in time. This is the only revenge fantasy that I've ever have enacted in my life, and that is it.
So they weren't even looking for like am I the asshole in this situation? They just wanted to tell us, hey, I put wasp stuff and piss in her shampoo bottle.
Yep.
You know what? I fucking respect it.
Yeah,
Hi,
honestly, the
Papa.
dedication that goes into it is amazing. I wouldn't even think about doing that. Wasp solution? I didn't even know that existed.
I don't know there's a thing either. I'm assuming it's
I'm
like
starting
something
to
to
think it's a
trap them
different
and kill
country.
them.
Yeah, because, there's like traps for like carpenter bees and stuff,
Yeah.
But...
I want to know what concert she went to.
That's...
But if I knew the concert, I could probably pinpoint where they're from. So that's probably why that's not released in there.
Fair enough.
Which is really funny because from the country concerts that I have been to, them venues are outside. And they're always during the summer. In the heat. So that means, yeah, sure you stung by wasps, but that means the urine that is in your hair is just simmering.
It's festering.
God. Can't even
It's
imagine.
the smell. The smell is just festering.
My question is, what kind of damage did it do to her hair? Because that is probably not good for any kind of hair at all, whatsoever.
Probably has some split ends. I'm trying to
I wouldn't
think.
be surprised if there was a bit of hair loss, but...
I want to know
Not
how
like
she
major,
didn't figure
but-
out that the smell was coming from her.
That's a good question. I have no idea either.
Because, like, if I stink, whether that be from like working out or just working outside. That's like the first thing I will fucking pin if I'm like, what is that from? Like if I smell something weird, the first thing I'm smelling is myself. T-shirt, clean, okay, cool. Pits, clean, okay, cool. Hair, like there's checks that I am making to make sure it is not from me before I'm like, where the fuck is it coming from?
So
does she never smell her hair?
I just looked it up. So actually, some individuals believe that washing their hair with urine, specifically morning urine, can help with hair loss, dandruff, and scalp infections. They claim it may stimulate hair follicle growth and clean the scalp due to the ammonia content.
Did they never heard of Head and
Scientifically
Shoulders?
proven.
One question at a time.
You go first, Mom. You go first.
I just Head and Shoulders dandruff control is a thing.
Sometimes that doesn't work though.
I
Like
don't know,
especially
what the
like with super thick hair. I've tried Head and Shoulders with my super thick hair when it was starting to get a little dandruffy. It doesn't work.
So would you put piss in your hair if it was scientifically proven to work?
No.
Still no. No, I would not.
The weirdest thing I've done to my hair was rice water. It stinks. It smells like shit.
Rice water?
But it is really, really good for your hair. Put rice in water. Let it soak. Let it sit. Let it ferment, to be frank. Get the rice out.
God. And
then use that water solution with the rice that was soaked in it and spray that in your hair. It smells like shit. Typically, you time that with like a day that you're not going out and will be showering that night because it fixes split ends. It fixes hair it will solve a lot of hair problems, and it is proven to work. And it's not piss. Please don't put piss in your hair.
PSA: do not put piss in your hair.
It's like that shouldn't have to be stated, but as a papa. As a horrible revenge because your sister's a piece of shit, I would say take it a step further. Put bleach in that bitch. But that's because, you hurt the family dog out of whatever rivalry you have towards your sibling. Put bleach in that shit. Lose your hair.
Put purple
I'm just
hair
surprised
dye in like the purple dye, the thing that
Purple
makes
shampoo.
your hair all white. Yep.
Yeah. But,
make that bit.
I just don't understand, the death threats and, the almost killing them sort of thing. How... There's just nothing happening about it. Family isn't doing anything about it.
Where's the mom in all of
police aren't
this?
Involved.
I think mom doesn't notice it. I think she does it. I think mom thinks it's just, little fights and, harmless threats.
Dude, fuck
or,
no.
Sister doesn't do it when mom's around.
Because, me and my brother beefed growing up. Don't get me wrong. We would throw hands, alright? Mom and dad would have to, grab us by our scruffs and be like, why are we trying to kill each other? Because we would just beat the shit out of each other. And we had duked it out plenty of times. But it's even that, it was never so severe of, I hate you that I'm gonna go out of my way to threaten to kill you. I'm not going to hurt the family dog. If I'm mad, I think the worst thing I think I've done to my brother, aside from our scraps, which were pretty resolved pretty quickly. I think both of us just needed a hit in, and we were like, all right, we're gonna walk away. The worst thing I've ever done was I convinced my brother he was adopted.
That's heinous. That is some heinous shit right there.
When I tell you,
How
it
did you
fucked
even
with him
manage
for
to do
years.
that?
So, because my mom has all of our baby photos, right? And mine was always in the house. So I was able to pull it out, and I would have all of the baby photos, the hospital wristband, all of that shit. And we're a 3-year age gap. His stuff, if it wasn't somewhere in her closet that we couldn't find, it was in storage. And so I would always tell him, hey, it's really funny that there's no pictures of you in the house until you're about 3 years old. There's pictures of me when I was a baby. I have a baby book. Where's yours? And he'd be like, no, mom has that. And I was like, does she though? I haven't seen it. There's no pictures of you until you're about 3 years old. That's when we picked you up from the adoption center and they were able to pick a kid that would look like us so you wouldn't question it growing up. When I tell you this fucked with him
How
for
old
so
were you?
long. 14, 15? No, this went further back. Hold on. When I tell you this started, we were kids. I'm talking like he was probably like 6, which means I'd have been about
You were
9.
Jesus.
And so
How would a 9-year-old fucking...
I don't know,
think of
but I
that?
was really good. And I did it for years is the thing. I never dropped it. And that's what got it in his head worse. Because he would go to my mom and then I would get grounded. And they'd be like, no, I told you, like, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, another year would pass and I would get better with that lie. And when I tell you this fucked with him, there were genuinely times in his teenage years that he would be like, Mom, am I adopted? Like, are you going to tell me the truth yet? And she's like, you're not. You came from me. You're not adopted. And then I would get in trouble again because, like, I fucked with him for years. I want to say the reason that revenge stemmed, if memory serves me correct, and hi, Mom, if you're watching this, feel free to correct me later. I know this tiff happened. I just don't remember if it was before or after. And I want to say it was before, which triggered that. I had a diary as a kid, right? I think every little girl has a diary. Even if we're not literate enough to make sense of said diary, I had a diary. And Ty, before, he couldn't even read. He couldn't read, right? Came up to me with my diary. Ha ha, I read your diary. Ha ha ha, I know all your secrets. So I went to my mom, bawling my eyes out. Ty read my diary. He knows my secrets. He was in my room. He read my diary. It was like the full scene from Shark Boy and Lava Girl. My dream journal. That was me.
My dream journal.
And then she had to sit me down and go, honey, he can't read. He didn't read your diary.
Now I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this.
He's not literate yet.
It's like, brace yourself when I say this. He can't understand letters.
But like also, our beefs with each other, we would spread lies about each other. Okay, so his was the diary, mine was the adoption. There was another instance somewhere in the in-between, right? He took my mom's makeup and put my name on the bathroom wall in makeup. Obviously, Mom comes to me going, why the fuck did you write your name on the bathroom wall with makeup? And I'm crying. I didn't do it, right? And growing up, she would say, stick your tongue out. If there's white on your tongue, you're telling a white lie, you're lying, right? Now, granted, if you don't know this, if you still believe this to that day, it just means you need to brush your tongue, okay? It just means your mouth isn't clean. Doesn't mean you're lying. I was starting to pick that up, and I also realized that I hadn't brushed my teeth that morning, so I had white on my tongue. And so I was freaking the fuck out, having a full mental breakdown. I was like, I'm not lying, look at my tongue. And she's like, I see white. And I'm like, no, I'm not lying, I swear, right? Ty is sitting in the background, just like soaking it up as I'm having a mental breakdown because it's my name on the wall. It's her makeup, but I didn't do it. And so she was like, you know what? I'm going to call the police. I'm going to get my makeup brushes fingerprinted. Ty freaks the fuck out. He finally comes clean. Mom, it was me. I'm so sorry. I don't want to go to jail. Right? Cool. My revenge was I took scissors, we still have this dining table and it is still there. I took scissors and started carving his name into the dining table as my revenge. I did not get far.
Was you doing on like the side or the top of it?
The very top of the dining table. His name is still engraved in that table. My mom walked in on me doing it, so I didn't get very far. I was finishing up the Y and like carving his name in, and I hear, what you doing? And I was fucking turn around, scissors in hand, like, hi, Mom. I didn't do it. And she was like, really? I'm gonna beat your ass. Like,
just that parent stare, like, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it today.
I want to say a chase ensued after that. I fucking took off, but Like, we had our beefs and we had our rivals. But I don't think we ever went as far as, like, I'm gonna kill you, or I'm gonna hurt animals like a serial killer. But also, our parents were pretty quick on, like, hey, whoa, you're being fucking stupid. Let's simmer. Let's get a grip.
I think the worst thing I did with my brother is, like,
Jab his back with a pencil.
Jesus.
Y'all went
I
easy
can't
mode.
even remember.
I
can't remember the last thing. Jesus.
Thank you, Lucy.
I can't remember the last time I had like a fight or some sort of rivalry with my brother. I mean,
Siblings
Yeah,
be
I
beefing
can't remember.
sometimes. I think
mean-
you either get along swimmingly enough that, like, when you beef, you don't really interact, or you have a really hard sibling rivalry up until you're adults, and then you finally are just like, you're not that bad.
yeah, I mean, when we were younger, we would like, I don't know, like punch each other sometimes, something like that. You know, the regular sort of brother sort of stuff. But our parents have always sort of like had the value of keeping your siblings close. You know what I mean? Like to always get along and stuff like that. And I guess that sort of helped with me and my brother when it came to that sort of stuff. But
I'll say
Hold
it's
on.
definitely different.
We're mid-episode. Dad, I know you're watching.
okay.
Let it be known, I told my dad that he needed to watch the episode with Ash. And, like, I told my parents both, you need to watch it. My mom is such a sweetheart for this. I'm talking to her, and I was like, you're gonna watch it. Like, it's really funny. It's something you'll enjoy. And he's like, well, what do you guys talk about? I had forgotten most of our talking points. I was like, I don't remember, but we mentioned beer, and like, you need to watch it. And my mom pipes in, and she's like, is it gonna hurt my feelings? And I was like, no, Mom, why would it hurt your feelings?
Like, we're just gonna stare at the camera and just be like, you are worthless.
She is my
And we're all gonna
mother!
sit here and agree with that.
Dude, I don't, like, it makes me wonder, and I sometimes wonder, like, did I ever say something that, like, hurt my parents' feelings in a past episode? Because if so, I'm sorry. I love you guys.
My parents are never gonna find this, and I hope to God they don't. Because that's gonna be an odd conversation.
I didn't have a choice in my parents learning about my VR antics, to be fair, because I was living with them for a little bit, and I was like, hey, I have this, and I'm an adult. So let's just all be cool. Nobody freak out. And then, like, I'm very prideful in, like, the stuff that we do, and so especially with this podcast, I take this so close to my heart that, like, any chance, I'm like, Dad, look, we won new subscriber on YouTube, and he's like, good job, I'm proud of you. And I'm like, yeah, my dad said he's proud of me.
Dad's just
My
like, you know
father-
what? Hell yeah.
My father will never find this. He will never find anything that is related to my shit.
Fair enough.
If he has, I will cry and I will start arson.
You know what, my family is just gonna, like, adopt all of you. They've already adopted her inadvertently, so
Yay!
hi, Silver, welcome to my family.
Yeah, babe.
I got 2 younger brothers.
I have a lot, if we do the math.
We're not doing the family tree right now.
Just off the top of my head, we have Swamp, Jax, Scraps, Papa, Silver, Minnie. If they're a man and they're in our Discord server, they're a brother. So there's a list. Your
Don't forget
husband,
about Tom the goat.
Husband.
Tom. I'll say that list is never ending.
It's just one big horizontal line.
Not until we break into the family tree and then it gets really fucked.
Oh god. Oh no.
For a simple diagnosis for new Twitch people who don't understand what I'm referring to, all of our friendships we call our family tree. And here's where it gets fucky, all right? As a simple example, without delving too deep, we have Sempi, okay? That's my wife, which means she's also kind of like a sister, but we're not sister wives. But she's also my fiance's dad. which means I'm
Wait.
technically, if Sempi's my wife and that's his dad, that means I'm the stepmom, but that's my fiance, but she's also my sister, which means he would be a nephew?
We're not doing
Would
this.
you rather have unlimited bacon but no games, or games but no more games?
It gets really fucked. All right, if I sat here and draw it out, you're going to see the start of a tree, and then it's going to loop around and come back and maybe do like a figure 8, and then 3 things are going to connect and then branch off at the same time. Yeah.
It's like the fucking Pokemon Tangela.
I've drawn it out once for somebody, and it was a nightmare to look at.
Oh god.
I never want to look at it again.
But, you know what we can look
know
at?
we all care. We all care for each other. We all love each other like family. It's just, it's too much sometimes.
Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. But you know what?
Yeah.
I'd say, J-Bun said, when the fuck did I get so many younger siblings? I forget you're older than us sometimes. How's it feel to have an army of younger siblings?
Hi.
So
Aren't
this
I,
next
like,
one,
the youngest one, pretty much.
you are.
You are the yes, because Zane's older than you.
You're the baby,
Yeah.
You're the baby.
which means you get spoiled. Fuck you. Anyway,
Well, fuck you too, then, I guess.
this next story, I did not read. I read the title. So I have no idea what the fuck
Oh,
we're getting
boy.
into.
We're just going headfirst into this, okay?
Balls to the
I'm
wall,
ready.
completely blind. This comes from Best of Redditor Updates. And when I say this is fresh, this was posted on the Best of Redditor Updates 20 hours ago. This was originally posted on r/am I overreacting, and that was posted May 16th of this year. So, like, what, 2 weeks ago?
Pretty much, yeah.
All right.
Almost exactly 10 days ago.
So, camera's in my way. I can't see words. So from r/am I overreacting was posted on the Best of Redditor Updates, and it is titled, "Am I overreacting for calling off my wedding after my fiance got drunk, put on my wedding dress, and had an accident in it?" Yeah. This sounds completely ridiculous, but it happened, and I can't stop thinking about it. Some people are telling me that I completely overreacted, and I'm starting to question myself. I'm 28. I was supposed to get married last weekend to my fiance, Nick, who is 30. Excuse me. We've been together for 4 years. He's funny, a little impulsive, but I always thought he had good judgment. He drinks socially, but I've never seen him totally out of control until now. The night before our wedding, I stayed home with my sister and 2 of my bridesmaids for a relaxed night. Nick went out with his groomsmen, and I expected him to be home tipsy at most. Around 1:30 in the morning, he came home absolutely wasted, slurring, stumbling, sweaty. I was brushing my teeth when I heard him banging around in the guest room. When I went to check, I saw him dragging out my wedding dress out of the closet. I asked him what he was doing, and he just laughed and said he wanted to see how it felt to be a bride. I told him to put it back and to not touch it, but he wasn't listening. Right in front of me, he stripped down completely and started pulling on the dress. He could barely get it over his body and kept tripping over the train. I didn't know what to say. Then he dropped to the floor in the dress, still laughing. Then he went quiet, looked up at me with this panicked face, and said, "Oh no." A few seconds later, he had an accident. Oh. Oh no.
Wait.
Diarrhea.
Did he pee?
It soaked through the back of the dress
No.
and onto the carpet. Yo!
Oh god!
You got the whiskey shits! Anyway. The smell was immediate and overwhelming. I stood there in shock while he started crying and tried to get out of the dress, which only made more of a mess. It was all over the fabric, the floor, and him. I told him to get in the shower, and I left. I drove straight to my mom's house, didn't take any of his calls. The next morning, I called off the wedding. Since then, Nick has apologized over and over. He said he blacked out and barely remembers what happened. His family is furious with me and says I'm throwing away a great relationship over a drunken mistake. Some of my friends agree, and I think I should have postponed the wedding instead of canceling. Even my maid of honor said I might be letting emotions take over and that it wasn't unforgivable. But I feel something broke that night. I didn't just feel disgusted, I felt disrespected. The dress wasn't just expensive, it was important to me. It symbolized something. I cannot unsee what happened. I can't laugh about it or even move on like it's just one bad night. I don't know how to look at him the same. Am I overreacting for calling off the wedding? That is part one.
Oh boy, part one.
I mean, her reaction is valid, but at the same time, I kind of agree with like
Her bridesmaids and his family, like, you could have postponed it, gotten it cleaned, fixed, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I understand where she's coming from with the whole, like, this is making my emotions go haywire, like, I don't know how to feel about this or how to react to it, because this isn't, like, it just,
Yeah. Silver?
See, here's the thing. I do think that she should have just at least, like at the minimum, just postponed it, like what Squish said, get it clean, stuff like that. And I think another thing is to be able to talk to him instead of, because, how do I explain this? Because, when you're blackout drunk, you have no control over what you're doing at all. And you know how she said that he drinks in moderation and stuff like that. I feel like it was, now not saying that his actions were a pass or anything, like, I'll get into that. But, at least let him let loose on his, on his wedding. You know what I mean? At least let him have one good night. You know what I mean?
is understandable, but at the same time, like, he
should have been at least more responsible to the point of, like, hey, it's my wedding night, I don't want to get too hungover for tomorrow.
That's fair. Or, it was like the night before?
It was the night before the wedding. And that's what's even...
Oh.
I will say what's weird to me is, like, I've been blackout drunk.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do anything crazy. I got sick. Absolutely. I ended up in a med tent at like 3 a.m. and took a cop car ride home. And from the snippets I do remember, it was just a lot of throwing up. I didn't do any, like, I didn't try to fight somebody. I didn't, like, try to take my clothes off. It was just, I don't feel good. And I'm having lapses where I'm not remembering things, but I'm blinking and we're in a new location, but it's making good progress. It was from concert floor.
I'm teleporting every time I'm blinking.
And then we were at the security gate. I blinked and we were getting in a golf cart. And then we were in a med tent. And then I was sitting. And then I was in a bed. And then I was on the edge of the bed just with my head in a trash can. And then I was getting into the back of the cop car. And then I was home.
And then I was home.
We did get a cop car ride home, not out of like an arrest. I was not arrested. It was during that concert is very popular in my hometown that like the cops literally are like, dude, call us up if anybody needs a ride home. And being local, they were like, get in the fucking car. Leave your car, get in ours. And I was like, yeah, I don't have to drive.
Do not drink and drive, people. Do not drink and drive.
Yeah,
I was ready to sleep in my car that night. That was the plan. I was going to sleep in the back of my car. And then, like, the cops were called, and they were like, we'll just give you a ride. And I was like, that works. That's better than a car. I would like my own bed.
Yeah.
But, like...
There's only been...
I'm trying to put myself in those shoes. No, you're good. I'm just trying to, like, put myself in those shoes of, like, if it was a night before my wedding... and he decided, I'm going to put on your wedding dress, that would already be, like, a weird moment for me where I'd be like, why would you do that? Because also, for those who don't know, wedding dresses, when you get them tailored, they are tailored to your body alone. They will not fit another person the same. When I say that shit is snug on me, there is no space for leeway, okay? If I gain weight, it won't fit. If I lose weight, it won't fit. Like, I have to stay where I am at and not move because it is built exactly to my body. And who hit the spinning fish? Hi, Rare. And it's... So that already could be a lot of damage done because any amount of stretching, any ripping, any tearing, especially the night before, just to get my dress altered, which was simply shortening the length. It's just too long for me to walk in. It's $500.
Oh, God.
So to fix torn fabric, that's a different situation. So that's already weird. I wouldn't say divorce territory, but I would definitely be like, I'd be really fucking pissed. But then for there to be an accident, I don't think it's unforgivable. Clearly he is blackout drunk. Clearly he's not in control of every action he's taking. And like, accidents are accidents, okay? Like, if I'm drunk and I throw up, I didn't go in with the intention of wanting to throw up. That just happens.
Yeah.
And like, he cried after. So clearly, aside from like embarrassment, he felt guilty. I don't think we're in divorce territory. I think we're in like, I'm very pissed off territory and we need to have like a talk and a conversation because what the fuck was this? But I wouldn't say cancel. But that opinion could change because this is only the first part and we do have an update.
And I will say, I don't mean this in like a very mean way or anything like that, but when is the next time that will happen? Because like, you only get one wedding with this person, you know what I mean? Like, you know, maybe sometime you might get blackout drunk again, but at least he won't take a shit in your dress.
I do feel bad for the dry cleaners, and I feel bad for their wallets, because I can only imagine, one, not only the dry cleaners getting that and being like, what the fuck, but, like, if her dress is traditional, that's white, and that fabric's expensive as fuck.
I believe it. I believe it.
So, like, the bill for that won't be pleasant, and I mean, the worst case scenario is they have to get another dress, which is another big hit in a budget, but... So there are some comments for that were relevant, saying, like, does he have any drug or alcohol problems? And OP said he's never had problems with alcohol, not that I know of at least. Do you think it's a sign of something worse? Someone asked, is this something that happens often? Does he often get blackout drunk? If yes, consider it a bullet dodged. And they said, no, this is the first time he's gotten this drunk since I've known him, which is why I think I might be overreacting. And then someone else asked, like, was he roofied? And OP said, I don't know. I'm worried some of his friends might have been pressuring him to drink. So the update comes the next day. And it says, hi again. First off, thank you to everyone who responded. I didn't expect the level of attention my post got. And honestly, reading the replies made me feel less alone. Some people told me that I was right to call it off. Others said it was a terrible mistake, but not unforgivable. Both sides helped me see the situation more clearly. I spoke to Nick this morning, not for closure, not for a big emotional talk, just to return some things and check in about logistics since everything's been canceled. But we ended up sitting down and talking for over an hour. He apologized again, sincerely. He didn't try to defend himself or shift blame. He told me that he didn't remember everything clearly, but he knows he came home wasted, saw the dress, and in his words, thought it would be funny or meaningful or something. He didn't mean to ruin the dress, he didn't mean to humiliate me, but he did, and he knows that. He said he's ashamed of what happened and how out of control he let himself get. He also admitted that this wasn't the first time his drinking led to something bad. He said this was his wake-up call and that he's gonna stop drinking entirely. I didn't even know he had a problem. The thing is, I still care about him. We were supposed to get married. I didn't walk away from someone I didn't love, but inside, something in me just cracked that night. And it wasn't healed. I don't know if it will. I know that sounds superficial to some people, but for me, it was a symbol of our future, of the person I thought I was marrying, and watching him defile it in that state, whether on purpose or by accident, changed something. I've been trying to figure out if one night should be the end of our 4 years together, but it's not really just that one night, is it? That's what it revealed about how he handles stress, about how far he let himself go, and about how I felt standing in that room watching someone I love become almost unrecognizable. I haven't made a final decision yet. Technically, the wedding is still canceled, but the relationship isn't officially over. We're on some kind of emotional pause, I guess. He says he wants to make things right, and maybe he will. Maybe with time, I'll want to try again. But right now, I feel like I'm grieving something that ended, and I don't know if I'm ready to build it back from scratch. So I guess now I'm asking, am I overreacting if I walk away from this completely?
You know, that's sort of a tricky sort of area because I guess it all comes down to like moral values and stuff like that, and also how people handle relationships is completely different from person to person. Trust me. I feel like everyone here, at least in this room, knows that.
Yep.
But I'm not sure. I think it just varies from person to person. I mean, what I genuinely feel like is, I don't know if it's really good to walk away completely. I mean, I understand it because, you know, there's so many worse things that have happened in people's relationships, and they take some time to just, you know, take a break and then eventually get back to it and, you know, either make it work, fix it, something like that. But I don't know if it's really a good idea per se to walk away completely from it. Because, I mean, 4 years with someone as well?
Yeah.
That's dedication. That's, you know, a lot of put in effort and time into.
So, Rare in the chat, real quick, is saying this sounds like the start of a toxic, manipulative relationship. And I can kind of see it, but I'm trying really hard to put myself in OP's shoes with the fact that I am getting married in 5 months and just how much the dress means to me. That if he ruined the dress, right, whether on purpose or on accident, I'm not saying I would divorce this man ever, that he is sticking with me, but I definitely know that would build up a lot of hurt feelings, because that dress to me symbolizes more than just like, oh look, a pretty dress for the day, teehee. Like, this is like this dress is signifying the start of our life forever. Like, I still plan on it. I want to put the dress in a giant fucking glass frame and put that shit on the wall. That way I can look at it every day, because it means something really important. But something I noticed is that she did state that he admitted to having a drinking problem that she didn't know about. I do feel like we're missing some parts, because she mentioned that she noticed, like, you know, this incident revealed other things that she just kind of overlooked, like how he handles stress. And so I do feel like we're missing those blips of the story of like, okay, well, how does he handle stress? Because what we're seeing is he does feel bad, and he does want to make up to you, and he is apologizing sincerely, and he's not saying, oh yeah, sorry, I was drunk, but it's whatever now. Like, he's like, I'm sorry, I fucked up. I know I did a really terrible thing. I can't justify it. Like, he's acknowledging his bad behavior and making that effort of like, I want to fix this because I don't want to risk losing you. He's not brushing it off. So I do and don't, right? Like, I understand where she's coming from, but I still think it's overreacting, because he's showing the signs of like, hey, I did do this bad thing. I will own that. Yeah. How can I fix it?
I think it depends on the person as well, because we don't know them personally or anything like that. We don't know the relationship, so I guess it all depends on so many factors.
There's so much that I think we're missing.
I don't think she's overreacting, but he could be, like, going back to the whole stress thing. Him drinking could be the way he handles his stress. And weddings are stressful, very stressful. So him coming home blackout drunk could have really kind of popped a picture in her head to realize how stressed he was. And him being sorry for what he did and knowing that he screwed up and that he fucked up and he wants to make it better. He's trying to, like, what's the word? We're not coming out of it.
Oh.
He's trying to like put himself in the position of like, okay, I did this bad thing. This has happened once before, but just like a different situation. And I'm gonna learn from my mistakes. I want her in my life. This is what I'm gonna try and do to fix it. Cause yes, that's more of a symbol of like everything that you both are gonna go through in life together. You know, after the whole ceremony, reception, everything, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, like, overreacting to the point of being like, do I leave completely? That's a little over the top. Because I'm putting myself in her shoes. If Mason decided to have a doo-doo accident in my wedding dress, there would be choice words, but the man's stuck with me. Don't say not yet!
See, the real question is how often does he shit himself while drunk?
The real
This is probably
question
the first time.
The real question is, how sensitive is his fucking stomach and his bowels for
Okay,
him
but like,
to shit himself
just
that
in a
much?
moment, can we all envision? There's still some humor in this. This is a really sad situation because like a relationship is potentially ending. But can we just imagine the hilarity of a grown man? And I'm gonna take just general grown man build, right? So like, dad bod. Give him a dad bod. Boom. Envision a dad bod coming home, stumbling, grabs this pristinely white dress and goes, I'm gonna be a bride, baby. And like is struggling to fit a female physique and put this on. So it probably goes no further than his fucking thighs to then fall over. So now you have a naked man with a dress maybe up to his thighs suddenly look up and just go, uh-oh. And you just see brown everywhere suddenly. Like,
Oh god. Oh god.
That is a horror story. That is a horror movie.
I feel like that's something that Family Guy would fucking think up about.
yeah, like that's a South Park episode.
Yeah, pretty much.
I am gonna say this real quick, so don't mind me as I lift my head up. Babe, I love you so much. Please stop saying not yet.
I do see some comments that were posted that were relevant. And where'd it go? I just lost my place. There it is. Okay. So the top comments, someone said, not overreacting at all. This is not about the dress. It's about what it meant to feel powerless as he did something stupid, thoughtless, and immature after drinking himself into a stupor and glimpse into your future. You got that you couldn't gaslight yourself into ignoring because it ruins something so symbolic and expensive. Believe the symbolism. This is a red flag. Not that he's a bad person, but that this partnership might come with significant difficulty long term as he continues to cope with his life stresses in immature ways that leave you always having to be the adult in the house. I've been in relationships where I've made excuses for every red flag. I've seen loved ones endure relationships with addicts hoping, okay, actually, you know what? I'm not going to read the rest of this comment. So I have a problem with, this is why I don't like Reddit sometimes.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people on Reddit too, like, they look at it face value.
Yep.
And two, they go off of, like, thinking too critically. You know what I mean?
They think too critically
in the relationship. You don't
because
have
those are
the
script
emotion that
kittens.
goes into it and stuff.
Those are people who were hurt in life and think that like every tiny, and I'm not saying this is tiny, but they're taking like every problem and going, oh, gosh, they're cheating on you. And it's like, this dude was just drunk one night and he didn't sleep with anybody. He just shit in a dress, right? For this comment to be saying like, I've seen this in addicts. He's not on drugs. He had a fucked up night. He made a stupid choice. Is it unforgivable in the current moment? Yes. But is it relationship ending? I don't think so. And this is what I don't like with Reddit is a lot of these comments are going to say, go nuclear, divorce. This is a red flag. X, Y, and Z. This is how he handles everything in life. They feed off of that negativity.
They want the update to where she does go nuclear. She does fucking leave, and it turns into this whole fucking messy situation.
So I will say a lot of Reddit is like an echo chamber of just shit spewing more than that in the dress,
Yeah, and I mean, I was saying, that's what the people of Reddit want. They don't look into it putting themselves in her shoes or thinking about it logically. They just want the negative outcome.
Yeah.
They want.
Yeah. I will say the second comment tells them that they need to take a year or two break and then revisit, and it's like, don't do that.
What?
Don't breaks in relationships. Don't ever fucking work. I'm sorry.
Year?
I hate that shit.
I understand a week or two, you know what I mean? Just sort of get yourself together, you know what I mean?
Gather your thoughts.
Yeah.
Right? I understand staying with mom for 2 days so he can sober up, get over the hangover, sit with his emotions, and go, okay. And that gives you time to cool off and not want to fucking strangle somebody and then be like, all right, let's talk. But I'm sorry. The people who advocate for relationship breaks, everybody has a different lifestyle. Everybody has different choices. I think breaks in relationships are fucking stupid. If you sit with your partner and you're like, hey, I think we need a month-long break because I don't know, which every time I've seen any relationship go on a break, it's like, hey, I can do whatever I want and I can be single just for the month, but then I'll come back to you. And it's like, then just be single. If you have to advocate for a break, you're not in it.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that
what
shit.
Papa says, if there's any doubt, there's no doubt at all. I love you, by the way, Papa.
Yeah, so I don't think
diddle
Reddit
Papa
was
later.
her best place to go to because, yes, what he did is horrendous. It's disgusting. It's foul. You shit in a wedding dress. That's a really weird thing. But you've stated he doesn't get this drunk constantly. This isn't a normal behavior. There's just a one-off, right? And if he has issues with stress, even Rare says it in the chat, get him help for stress. Go to therapy. Have that sit-down conversation of hey, if you are secretly struggling with alcohol and you need help with stress, let's go to counseling together. Let's put you into therapy. But you shit in my wedding dress, so wedding's off, I don't like you anymore, you give me ick, is overreacting to me. I understand being pissed, I understand being hurt, but I don't think I can't because I'm trying so hard to put myself in the shoes of if he did that to me, would I be pissed? Yes. Would I be hurt? Absolutely. Would I be angry? Fuck yeah. Would I want to leave him? No. Absolutely not. I still love the fuck out of this man because one fuck up is not the end of the world. And it's also, this wasn't cheating. This wasn't infidelity of any kind. This wasn't a financial sneak around. You know what I mean? Some other relationships that's hey, I just spent $5,000 behind your back and now we're in crippling debt type shit. It wasn't anything of that degree. It was, hey, I came home drunk and I did a really fucked up thing and I'm really sorry. But it wasn't I didn't murder somebody. No cheating, no murder, no financial decisions. He shit in a dress. Unfortunately, a very expensive dress. But he did a shit in a dress. I don't think that's divorce territory. I think it's just counseling.
Yeah. I just say it's not a straight line, especially with these kinds of things. Especially when it comes to something so big and so important. It isn't just, like I said, one straight line. There are a lot of other things that tie into it and stuff. Maybe there is a solution, maybe there isn't, but, making a post on Reddit won't really help you find out.
No,
for being truthfully honest.
I could literally go on Reddit right now and be like, my boyfriend didn't cook dinner for me. Am I overreacting? And they'd be like, oh, break up with him! Get the pitchforks! And it's like, I was just hangry.
Sorry, guys. Just had a little hate post. No, nothing to see here.
Like, it's sometimes it's a really bad echo chamber, and I think the people who do go to Reddit genuinely wanting that advice of like, hey, what happened here? You don't commonly have the people of Reddit who are like, actually, is this bad? Yes, but is this ending? No, you guys just need some help. You are getting the extremist incels who are like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Don't worry, princess, I would never treat you this way. Like, it's a really bad echo chamber, and I think for her to fully make a decision on what to do, log out of Reddit. Go talk to your mom. Go talk to your bridesmaids, because everybody else is telling you it's not the end of the world. You're allowed to feel hurt, you're allowed to feel upset, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. And it's this sort of thing as well, because at least with my past relationship, we had that sort of thing where if there's something going on between us, we would just talk about it. No need to bring it to like friends and stuff like that. Of course, this is a different situation where it's a wedding. You have, I would assume, at least like 100 people there or something like that. I know people have like smaller weddings, but just as a general idea. But I mean, at least talk to them, or at least the more important people at the wedding about it. Because, how do I explain it? When it comes to a wedding, it isn't, it is about, you and your partner, but it's also everyone else coming in as a team to celebrate it and stuff like that. And, sometimes getting all that help with that team helps,
Oh, that's why I have the group chat for everybody. Hi, for those who don't know, I made a brides, maids, and groomsmen group chat where I have all the bridesmaids, all the groomsmen. Yeah, and we have Silver because he is also our flower girl. And I put everything in that group chat from like what colors people would like to see, what music. Like, I'm not trying to do this independently on my own. And I want everybody to feel happy.
It's bridesmaidens with men. That's what it's called. Bridesmaidens with men.
There you go.
What category do I fall in?
Flower girl.
I'm just on my own category.
Is Silver wearing a dress for the wedding?
No, I will not be wearing a dress.
Well, Silver,
I'll
here's
be
the
trying
fucking
to wear
catch.
other things.
Here's the catch, right? If you are a flower girl for Mason and I's wedding, you have to wear a dress. That's Mason's
I'm not going to be a
rule.
flower girl.
Just feel excited that I'm going to give you a bubble gun. Because our venue does not want fake flowers. I don't really feel like wasting real flower petals. And they also said no rice, no confetti. The options are real flowers or bubbles. You're getting a bubble gun.
Silver
I'll get
being
2 bubble
Pum's
guns.
flower
Right?
girl,
Just like walk down. Fucking.
and him if he wants to be ours.
But
If Silver wanted to be our flower girl.
I don't think I have too many more says on that except for like, hey, don't put on your fiance's wedding dress. And don't shit in things.
Yeah.
Don't shit in things, especially your pants, okay?
You want to know what's funny? So, going back to, like, men wearing dresses.
Rare, did you break the
that whole
soundboard?
thing. He might have broken the soundboard. But, like, going back to that, right? So, Mason's, like I said, Mason's one rule. If a man is the flower girl, they have to wear a dress. But that also falls on my bridesmaids. So... He said any guy who is my bridesmaids have to wear a dress. So like if I wanted Zane or Darth or Silver to stand up next to me, they would have to wear a dress. That would also mean if I wanted Rosie to stand next to me, Rosie would have to wear a dress. Rosie's the only pass? Really? Rosie apparently has a pass.
Yo, I'd wear a suit. I just want to feel like a special agent.
You can join.
We're
Well,
part of
no,
the Men
because
in
you're
Black.
you're my bridesmaid. You can't. But at the reception, Darth has his buddies that wants to do a bridal protection party.
I just want to wear a suit so I could say, "Get down, Mr. President," and tackle Mason off the podium and be like, "All right, now's my chance." I do.
Oh my god, wait, can you actually, babe? Can Pum wear a suit to the wedding and then tackle you while saying, "Get down, Mr. President," and then get up and then jokingly say, "I do" at the altar with me?
Bonus points, we
She'd wear a
don't tell the
suit?
officiant and they actually think a shit show is about to go down.
We can't do the "I do" thing, but she can, like, wear a suit and tackle you and say, "Get down, Mr. President." He said you can try.
I'll say, to be
But the
fair, I
I do-
think me trying to
the
tackle
I do
Mason
thing
would
is
be
off
like
the table.
throwing a toothpick at a chair, and it's just gonna kind of.
Babe, she said her trying to tackle you is like throwing a toothpick at a chair.
Oh man.
You're not fat. Shut up.
No, I'm just
I
saying that
love
if it's
you.
too windy
Festive
that day, y'all could
weekend.
tie a string to me and I could be a kite.
We can wear ropes together. We just tied at the waist.
Let it be known that both of our husbands will be getting us child leashes.
Yeah. If we go to
Excuse me while I get a battery pack.
if we go to Disney World, would you fucking just
I did find. So I was sleuthing on TikTok for like adult children backpacks with the little leash thing. For adults, I don't know exactly what they're called, but people are using it for this. It's for best friends, and it's like a velvet wrist cuff with the stretchy cable cord thingy. And people just put it on like the friends, so Dumb and Dumber can stick together at all times.
We need to get it.
But I think with the shitting in the room with us actively, it's on my shirt. That will bring us to Squishy's last story of the night.
Yup.
Already?
Yup. I mean,
Man.
it's almost been 2 hours.
Oh god,
Okay.
we yap.
Well, no. So it's been an hour 23. I've almost been on for 2 hours. Okay.
Get back
To
on
be
Creatures
fair,
of
these last couple
Sumeria
we've had
after
really
this.
good tangents, and I don't mean for the episodes to get this long. I'm sorry, YouTube.
No, it just
So-
gives them more content to watch. Don't be sorry. They
This
want
was
this shit.
this was posted yesterday.
Oh god.
Who fucking up on Memorial
So
Day
there's
weekend?
no update.
On r/revenge, this is
I set up numerous fake dates for my cheating boyfriend.
The cookout is gonna be so awkward.
okay.
Oh man.
So this is like a past tense story, but they posted it yesterday. So 8 years ago, I entered a relationship with someone who was almost too good to be true. He listened to everything I had to say. We had so much in common. I finally felt understood and really seen by someone as who I really am. I opened up to him more than I intended to, way too soon. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Now I know that what he did to me back then was love bombing. Some examples of his techniques: the second month of dating, he took me to an uninhabitable island with a small boat, set up a gorgeous lunch he prepared at home, served limoncello. I don't know what that is, but it sounds good.
I think that's right. Yeah, I think that sounds alright. Sounds good.
And we went driving, and he found a giant shell and gave it to me as a token of his love. Shortly thereafter, he took me to his childhood home, showed me pictures of his parents who were deceased, and gave me his old toy he claimed he was his fondest childhood memory. I was sure he was the one. However, seeing soon started to change. At first, it was the little things. He made a cynical comment here and there about the way I looked or something I said, and that made me feel very insecure. He'd flirt with other women in front of me too to make me jealous. I'd cry and he'd apologize and temporarily revert to his old romantic loving self, but his outbursts became worse and worse. And the amount of pleading with him and convincing with him of my love was growing each time. I felt exhausted and drained by the constant need to prove my love for him just to earn a little bit of affection he initially showed me. I once got out of the shower and caught him browsing on an online dating site. He said he made sure I saw what he was checking out to see if I'd get jealous and controlling again. I didn't believe him. He was actually very bad with computers, and early on in the relationship, he once called me on the phone and asked for my help with setting up an online account for playing chess. I tried to guide him through it in the process of setting up a username and password at this particular site, which was somewhat more complicated than these things usually are, and he grew impatient and just told me the username and password he wanted to use. I remembered that and tried this username and password on the dating site he visited. I immediately got into his profile, and what I saw broke me. Not only was he chatting with other women, but it was clear from some conversations that he had met other women and had sex with them. Some of the conversations contained intimate information about me and what he was dissatisfied with me about. What I read hurt so much that I cried on the floor like a little baby. By this point, I knew he wasn't perfect and that our relationship was far from perfect. But I was clinging to that initial phase of our relationship, which made me feel the happiest that I've been in my life. Now I had to deal with the fact that it was all fake. I cried for hours, and then something in me broke, and I decided to get even. I set up a fake online dating profile the first of many to come. Started chatting with him, and after a few days, he suggested meeting. I feigned hesitation. He insisted. I reluctantly agreed to meet him in a large coffee house. I went there, half disguised, and sat there, where I knew he wouldn't see me. I half hoped that he wouldn't come and that it was all just a bad dream. I called him 10 minutes before meeting with the mysterious woman to ask where he was and if he could meet. He said that he couldn't because he had an errand to run. My heart sank. I kept my eyes glued to the door. Sure enough, there he was. He came in, sat, and waited. At first, I thought I was getting a panic attack because I was so distraught, but I managed to calm down. He waited patiently and then started fidgeting, looking at every woman that came in, and then, as if by divine intervention, a woman came in who looked just as what I described myself online. He immediately came up to her and said something. She dismissed him, and he was persistent, at which point she got agitated with him and told him to leave her alone. He waited for another half hour and then left. That afternoon, I sent him a message through the dating site that I was indeed the woman he spoke to, that I saw him, found him physically unattractive, but lacked the courage to discuss it in public. So I faked knowing who he was. I apologized profusely. He said it was okay, no hard feelings, but I knew it wasn't okay. He was very self-aware and narcissistic. No way he wasn't unbothered by that. So I did it to him again and again and again. Sometimes he'd be stood up, sometimes the woman would reschedule and then he'd be stood up. Sometimes she canceled last minute. At least 10 dates went south. I decided it was enough and that it was time to break up. I did it in public. I told him it was over because he was cheating. He's a cheating slob. He denied everything and tried to gaslight me to spin the story as me being the jealous freak. I then looked at him and said, all those fake dates, all me. And I just let it sink in. He asked how, and I told him his password and left. After a few months after the breakup, he wrote a lengthy email saying that what I did to him was ingenious, that I proved that I was in love, I was the love of his life, and that he completely lost the will for online dating because he both fears and hopes that every new woman is me. I never answered this or any other attempt he made to contact me. He still makes such attempts even now, years later.
That's not the takeaway. That's not the takeaway. We don't cheat on our partner and then have like a nice revenge plot of like, hey, you cheat on me, so I'm gonna have all these fake dates and then I'll break up with you. And then go, oh my god, you got me so good. I just know you're the one, No! What the fuck?
It's like you had sexual intercourse with other women, told them what you were dissatisfied about with me, and said years later and like a couple months after we broke up that I was the love of your life, and you look for every new date you have, you think it's going to be me.
Where the fuck is MTV? Where are the cameras? A genuine, like, are you about to drop punked? Ha 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 ha! The fuck?
I can't fucking do this shit anymore.
What?
I'm out.
That's Delulu land. You're so embedded into Delulu land, and like I'm a little astonished right now. That's mind-boggling. One, everybody sucks here. Everybody fucking sucks here. I'm sorry. I'm all for some good revenge here and there, but like,
to be fair,
10 fake
That was a good idea, though.
I understand it for like the first one, right? That confirms your suspicions. You know what's happening. You know he's cheating. Cut the cord. You got it in as a ha-ha, that was actually me. 10 dates?
I think what she was trying to go for is more of him starting to feel what she's been feeling like with him, like saying he's out all the time, or if he's trying to do something.
You're not going to get that feeling. You're never going to get that feeling. If you have a shitty partner who's cheating on you, if you're like, listen, again, I understand the first time, I feel like you're justified. The first time he has that shit coming. Get your suspicions confirmed. Get your little haha, that was me victory moment in. Fucking walk. 10 times? You're just a glutton for punishment at that point, because that means within the span of those 10 dates. So let's say this was like a date a week. That is almost 3 months that this prolonged, where he's still coming home to you. You guys are still acting like it's normal. You're still fucking. You're still smooching. You're still doing normal couple shit. And secretly you're both like doing heinous shit on the side, which is really weird. And that's just like, you're really a glutton for punishment at that point. Like, you know it hurts your feelings. Why are we doing it? Cut the cable. But I don't understand it by round 10. That's any cheater, any shitty person in a relationship, as much as a victim, you're gonna want your like, ha, gotcha moment. Feel the pain that I feel. They're not going to ever feel that, because if they felt that, they wouldn't do it. This is a really weird thing. I don't like anybody in this story, but the Delulu land of, oh, you know, you sneakily faked all these profiles on me that I had no idea were you, but now I know were you, so obviously that means I'm just in love with you because it was your personality. That's the most crazy shit I think I've heard.
If it took you that to figure that out, then something is wrong in your fucking head.
That point. Because also texting styles, like Silver, if you tried to like catfish me on like a different account to see if I was like talking shit about you, I would ping that account was you based on your texting style.
That's fair. Yeah, I do have a interesting texting style.
She knows mine too well to fucking... She'd catch me the moment I send fucking hi. Because sometimes with her, I'm super dry. Sometimes with her, I get super punctual. But it depends on the conversation.
It depends on the conversation. It depends on your mood. Because if we are having like the greatest conversation to man, and then you could say ha ha, but it has a period at the end of it, I'm like, something upset you. What happened in the course of 5 seconds?
Okay, so anytime I put, like, what is it? It's like, haha, fair, or if I start, like, we have a good conversation and it starts going dry.
Yep.
She always texts me, she's like, are you okay? Do you hate me?
The tone changed, ergo there's something wrong.
I literally have to tell her, no, I don't hate you. And then the conversation continues.
Yeah, I'm pretty quick.
have a feeling. I have a feeling, you know, like if I do like start dry texting you, I'm either half asleep, I'm not paying attention, or I'm trying to pay attention, but something else is grabbing my attention.
To be fair, I think I text you because, like, I get up before most people. So when I'm up at 6, you're just waking up, and then I'm like, squishy, like this onslaught of text, and you're like, oh, good morning.
Yeah, this morning I woke up to fucking 32 messages in the tea time group
Holy.
chat. And all I responded with is, I just woke up. I'm not paid enough for this.
You're not paid at all. What do you mean?
But, like, okay,
Hey.
Silver, I want your thoughts, though, on, back on topic.
$152 in tips in 2 days, bitch.
That's fair. Okay, put
You
yourself
wanna
in
know
the
how much
shoes
I
of
made
OP.
in one day?
You made too much money in one day, you fucking
suck
asshole.
my ass.
I'm sorry, Pump, say that again.
It's okay. He bought me Beat Saber, so now we play together. I accidentally bullied him into it.
Accidentally. That wasn't accidental. That was intentional.
To be fair, you didn't have to. I would not have given a shit.
Is that what I missed when I went to go lay down yesterday?
It was, what, like 2 days ago? I don't know. He was making fun of me for not
because
having
last
Beat
night
Saber.
No, yeah, it was 2 nights ago, because, yeah.
Yeah, he was making fun of me for not having
then I
Beat
was at
Saber, and
work.
I was like, hey, if
I
you're
was at
gonna make
work.
fun of me for it, then fucking buy it for me. Popped up in my inventory.
Literally, the gift message was, fuck you. That was it. It's just a royal fuck you.
Lucy says
That
tea
gives
time
me
chat is
flashbacks.
perfect.
The tea time chat
jeez.
is perfect, but not when I wake up at noon to 32 messages.
In my defense, you guys have had me wake up to like 60.
That's okay.
Jesus.
All of us have a similar
was the
texting
part.
style, which isn't let's send one cohesive message. It's let's send,
let's send
sentences at a
18.
time.
Yeah, every thought that comes out of the brain goes in text and gets sent.
Unless we're like talking something serious, we'll send everything in one paragraph
Mhm.
and then wait for a response, or don't wait for a response before we start another paragraph.
That's
I've
fair.
done that to her
That's
a
fair.
couple of times.
I think this morning I sent 3 separate paragraphs, all of different things. Back to back.
You did.
Jesus, Poem.
Too much shit happened at 6 a.m. that I was like, what the fuck is happening? But anyway, for you, Silver, back onto the topic of this story. Put yourselves in the shoes of OP, right? You have a partner, you found out they're cheating, you decide, I'm gonna fucking catfish you so you can feel the hurt that I feel. Would you carry it on for 10 dates, or would you do like one date, be like, yep, you're a piece of shit, I'm out skis?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for that first one, I would have done it differently, in a way, like towards the end. But no, I would not strew it out that long. There's no goal, no reward to it.
Like, it's just
Like,
She was kind of
self-injury.
holding on to hope. I think she was kind of
Yeah.
holding on to that little bit of hope that she did have.
She should have pulled
I
like
mean,
a
that's-
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you know, on that first date, and be like, it was I, Dio, and like fucking start posing in the cafe.
Oh man.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't think everybody
just
sucks
use the
here.
hand just to erase them from it.
Everybody has weird coping mechanisms. If you catch your partner cheating, I understand doing it once. You get that validation for yourself, that like solid confirmation that can't be, you know, oh, it was a work meeting. Oh, it's a friend. Oh, it's X. Like, you can't get gaslit into it. You saw it because you were behind it. But to do it for 10 times, now you just like self-injury. Now you just like hurting your feelings because for what reason? You know he's going to do it. So you know he feels no remorse to it. So you're not going to get any of the satisfaction you think you're going to get. And then flip it to the other side. This guy's fucking insane. How do you
Yeah, he's
cheat,
crazy.
right?
I
Like
thought I
you're
was
you're
bad.
actively sticking your dick in other things that aren't your girlfriend. And then, you get catfished and you find out it was your girlfriend and you go, "Oh my god, I knew it was you because I just knew I was in love with you because why else would I have fallen for those other girls? Because they were you." And it's like, "Okay, what about the other ones that like you actually fucked? Those weren't me." Like that's a weird Delulu land to exist on to try to like manipulate her into staying.
I don't. It just seems like I don't know. I can't put my perspective into that. It doesn't make sense. No matter what I try and think of, it
That's
just
a lot of hurdles.
no. It's just a bad person. Just overall.
That's a lot of mental
Like,
gymnastics,
what-
and I got vape lungs. That I ain't running. Oh my god.
What did we learn today?
Oh man.
Don't shit in wedding dresses, and just leave if they're cheating.
hmm And
And
also, if a
apparently-
sibling is trying to kill you,
Piss in their
you might
hair.
want to do something about it. Piss in their,
Piss in there.
piss in their
And-
shampoo bottle.
Also, don't be a dick to your sibling's girlfriend.
Disabilities are valid. Piss in people's hair. Don't shit in wedding dresses. Don't cheat. I feel like that's pretty solid rules of life.
Yep.
Yeah, I
That's
think
a pretty
much sums it up.
solid.
I'd follow
pretty
those
solid
rules.
banger.
I gotta write that down. I need pen and paper.
I'm scared to be around Silver now. I'm gonna make him mad and he's gonna piss in my hair. He's gonna come up to
Yeah,
the
just
wedding and be like
watch.
shitting on the wedding dress. It's about to get a lot more interesting.
Instead, I could just imagine instead of bubbles for me walking down the aisle,
It's just piss.
imagine the meme of that cat with that weird fucking face and then just the piss on the fucking
It's a
camera.
super soaker of piss.
Chaos is now back in my chat. He said another country has fallen.
Oh god.
I'm glad that's how we
He's
can
now
end this
part of the
episode.
Squish Empire.
You're just taking
Oh,
all the
man.
countries, man.
Great.
Next country. Austria. Go.
Canada.
No, we have the pact with Red.
Ah. They have fancy money. I got my hands on a Canadian penny today.
We have
Those are
It's
worth
in my
European-
backpack now.
we have European money, so like we have European coins somewhere from when Tom visited.
No, it's a Canadian penny and
A
it makes me
euro.
happy because they're called loonies.
Well,
You
you know,
just like them because
Canada Canada doesn't use pennies anymore. They're worthless.
Fuck you, I have a loony in my backpack.
Fair enough.
Just fuck you. I have one in my backpack.
It was really cool. My coworker went, "They gave us a Canadian penny. Do you want it?" And so blissfully, I went and put it in my backpack.
Yoink.
But with that, y'all, that was our final story of the night. I want to say another thank you to Silver for finally coming on after we have begged and pleaded for the very long time, but he's busy. I get it. We love him.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to be on again, definitely. This was a lot of fun.
Welcome to what we've been doing every week when you're at the gym.
I see now.
The links will be linked where the links get linked, so everybody will get their respective love. I still have one final charity stream of the month, so if you want a shot to donate to it, please feel free. It is the final one. I want to try to make it a big bang with that, see how close we can get to the goal. And with that, we will see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye!
Bye bye.